It is important to mix the product correctly to ensure the best results. We like to follow the inspect, to, empty process. Step 1, make sure you have the correct product, container, and size. This is the part A, this is the part B for a quart size kit. Step 2 is open the cans to visually inspect the product. The part A is the resin side. You want to stir it up to see if there's any clumps on the bottom. There is no clumps, it's clear. This product is good to go. The part B is a very clear liquid. You want to look to see if there's any crystallizing or crystallization that's happened in the can. This can happen through moisture or anything, a hole in the can, a hole in the lid. So once you've got the two parts ready to go, you want to, step 3 is to pour the contents of part B into part A. You want to make sure to get the entire amount out of the quart can into the part A. And then you'll stir for 2 minutes. You don't want to use a high-speed drill. Using a high-speed drill will introduce air into this mixture, which ultimately will introduce bubbles into the final product. So as you can see, it's starting to separate, but it's slowly going to start to blend together. So it's starting to get a little bit white, more white, kind of ivory, and it's also starting to get thicker. So you see it's still not thoroughly mixed together, it's a little separating on the stir stick.
It's only been 1 minute, so
Yeah.
keep stirring. So it's like whipped cream.
It does get thick, it's kind of like Elmer's glue.
Sports world. Looks like it's about 2 minutes.
So once you've reached 2 minutes, you'll see it flows off the stir stick really nice. So at this point, the stir stick will almost stand straight up. Eventually it'll fall over, but that's how thick this product gets. Now we need to let it sit for 2 minutes. This 2 minutes is an important time because that's actually where the two products are cross-linking together. We call it a dwell time, an induction time, a sweat-in time. It's where those two chemistries interlock and react. That's what gives you the high performance characteristics of our product.
Get cross-link.
Yep.
Same thing with your finishes. Anytime you got a catalyst, you got to be able to mix.
Correct.
Okay.
At this time, you can try to figure out how much water reduction you want to make with the product. Depending upon the substrate you're going to put it on, as well as the vertical or horizontal surface, you're either going to add, up to 20 ounces of water. Generally on a vertical surface, you're going to add less just because you don't want it to run down. On a horizontal surface, you're going to add more so that it'll kind of level out a little bit easier. For our purpose, for doing the floor, we're going to put in 4 ounces for this quart, which would be equivalent to 16 ounces for a gallon. You can start to see during that 2 minutes, the product definitely thins out a little bit.
Okay, so it gets
So-
thick, then it kind of thins.
It gets thick when it's mixed together, and then it does thin out over that 2 minutes.
As it catalyzes.
Yeah, so now after the 2 minutes, what you're gonna do, because it's filled all the way up to the top of this quart, is you wanna find a larger bucket, because you're gonna reduce it with water. So you're gonna take the contents of this quart and pour it into the larger bucket. And try to get as much of the contents out so you can use it.
Now, what's the maximum you think you can do? Like 2 gallons at a time?
To mix together,
You mix them differently, and then when you apply them together, put the water.
well, you can do 2 gallons. I wouldn't go too much more unless you're doing a 5-gallon pail. The big issue is after they're mixed, you want to take them out of that,
Right.
that bucket and put them into, for instance, this tub.
Right.
And that's going to give you that extended pot life because the product is mass sensitive. And so if it stays in the can or stays in here, your pot life might only be 20 minutes. If it goes into the bigger, larger application tub, your pot life now might be 90 minutes.
Okay. And then, of course, once you put it down on the floor, then you're looking at 4 hours.
For it to dry.
To me, that's the same as pot life, too.
So now we have the reduction, we have 4 ounces of water, we went up a little. And we're gonna just slowly pour in the water while we're stirring it.
Stir that. for
And
2
then
minutes.
just stir this for 2 minutes. This is the third and final 2. As you can see, it's getting a lot thinner.
Right. Now, if you leave it in there, in 20 minutes or so, it'd be really starting to thicken up to the point where you probably couldn't spread it, right?
Foam.
Yeah, it would start to kind of foam up.
Okay. Let me stir it for a minute.
And you can lift up the stir stick and see, I mean, it is coming off. Now, if you feel at this time that there's not enough, it's not thin enough for you, you can always add in a little bit more water.
And a lot of that you can tell when you start applying it, right?
Correct.
Now, what do you do once you pour this out? Do you have them clean out the bucket and then start afresh? Or can you put, you don't want to put, you have a couple buckets, as you fill this one up, you pour it in?
Never knew the old.
Okay, so,
If you pour new product and old product, it's just gonna, or old product and new, it's just gonna kick over that new product faster. So it's gonna shorten that pot life for you.
so when you start this, you want to have a crew working with you? You don't want to do it yourself?
You
Well,
wanna
if
have,
it's a small area, you can, but,
you can if it's a small area. Teams of 2 are great, cause then you have someone that can do edging, you have someone that can do rolling. That person that's doing edging can also go back and mix more product as you need it, while the person that's doing the larger area rolling can always grab the edger and work together. So, after the 2 minutes, the part that we say is very important for that pot life is to take this product, and again, as you know, it's much thinner, to take this product and now empty the entire contents into the plaque tub. This gives you that full pot life, because it spreads out the product. So once we've done this, you're now ready to apply the product.